Now, I was going to say that life is very simple to maintain, and an example of that was actually discovered back in the 1600s as science was emerging from the Middle Ages. A fellow in Amsterdam called Jean-Baptiste von Helmont did an experiment with life. He took a branch from a willow tree that weighed 5 pounds and took a whole bunch of soil and dried it bone dry and put exactly 200 pounds in a big pot and pushed the branch down into it, packed the soil down, covered it with perforated metal so the air could circulate but dust wouldn't settle on the soil, and then watered it with rainwater or distilled water. And he kept that up for 5 years. The branch put down roots, it started to grow, and after 5 years he separated the plant from the soil and dried the soil, or weighed the plant. It weighed 169 pounds. So it had grown 164 pounds. Then he dried the soil bone dry again and found that it had lost less than 2 ounces. So there's 164 pounds of growth from less than 2 ounces of soil. And the rest was carbon from the atmosphere and oxygen and hydrogen from air and water. Most of life is a gas. And if I get a chuckle there, I point out that not only is most of the substance from which your physical body is made things that float freely in the atmosphere all around this planet, but that the solution to the very serious problems we're facing is to enjoy life. This is one of the things we really like about Rotary. You folks know how to have fun. Our ability to relate with each other, to have friends, to sing, to dance, to worship, to serve, to play sports, to make music, these things come from life. We are human beings. We're not human havings. Once you've got the basics to be alive and well, your food and your shelter, you'll get far more satisfaction from a friendship from anything that you'll consume. So the solution to a large extent is to enjoy life and manage the material world in a way that's respecting the needs of the grandchildren. The other idea that fits in here is something I learned from Buckminster Fuller. Anybody familiar with his work? He invented the geodesic dome that was the American Pavilion at Expo, and much else, which I can't talk about because we don't have time, but he talked about this one idea, pattern integrity, which he illustrated with a slip knot on a piece of string. And the thing about that is that as the knot slides down the string, matter enters one end and passes out the other. And that carries on until there's absolutely nothing left in that knot that was there when you first saw it. But it's the same pattern. It has integrity. And the thing about that relates to ourselves is that we're pattern integrities. The physical substance of our bodies is changing all the time. Most of it changes in a year. In 7 years, there's practically not a trace of any of the physical substance you were composed of 7 years previously. But you're the same person. We're spirits, enmeshed in the stuff of the earth. If we take the ends of the rope, actually, if we look first of all at your life, from the moment of your conception to the day that you die, there's an enormous amount of substance that comes inside your skin you would call yourself, and then it passes back on. So from the moment of conception to death, all of that substance, which you'll call yourself over time, is what's called your long body. Each person in this room has a long body, and most of it is in the environment right now. The long body of every person on this planet, of every plant, every animal, every insect, everything that lives draws on the same biomass to build its physical forms. So one of the first things that we need to do as a mature species is get toilet trained. It's totally unacceptable to take things that are dangerous to life and to release them into the biomass from which all life builds its forms, including the children and grandchildren. If we can take the ends of the rope and join them together, this is what organic agriculture is about. You take the human waste, the kitchen waste, the garden waste, anything that'll decompose, and you rot it down, feed that to the soil, and the soil life thrives and produces food for plants that grow, and we can eat the plants. Or animals eat the plants and we eat the animals. The only thing that's lost is energy, radiates from our bodies when we metabolize our food. But the sun shines, plants capture energy and replace that, and sets up a cycle that'll essentially last for as long as the sun shines. Now, as human beings, there's other things besides the biological substance of our bodies that make up our collective entity as a society. We use clothing and buildings and tools. And there's all sorts of other things that we take substance from the material world, bring into our cultural body, use for a while, and pass back out into the material world, into the biological world. And we have to take responsibility for those, and we have to join the cycle on those things as well.